was listening. Actually, it was one of our players, Nakai Johnson, is really good at producing music, beats and all. He had a really good beat right there. He's been sending them to me, so listening to it. So shout out to Nakai. You guys need to listen to his music. He's really good, very good. But I want to say, first off, extremely happy. I always talk about having the opportunity to go up and play Pitt. One of the better teams in the country right now, ranked pretty high. Coach Narduzzi's done a good job. I follow Coach Narduzzi since I've gotten to coaching, just being able to see him. I remember when he first got the job, I was at Temple, and he was at Michigan State as the defensive coordinator, doing a good job, and ended up going to Pitt, being the head football coach. And I think he's just done a phenomenal job there for a lot of years. I've been doing really, really well. Caden Bell, who I like, but I dislike because he left my alma mater, and they were doing really, really well on offense with him. But he's done a really, really good job. Took a few players from there that came that are doing a great job also, especially with Reed. He's a really good football player. I think the defensive coordinator Bates, the special teams, Bronkowski, all those guys do a really good job, and you can see it on all their teams. I think this team plays really, really hard. We get an opportunity to go out and play against one of the better quarterbacks in the conference right now. I think 10, Holstein, he's just he's a playmaker. He kills you with his legs, or he can do the same thing throwing. He does a real good job, and he has a bunch of receivers to go to. When you look at Mumphrey, you got 9, 2, 5. The tight end 86 is really good, 87, also 11. So they got a lot of players when it comes to just their passing game, and then the running game, just knowing Reed, who I've watched because he was at Western Carolina and done a really, really good job, and he's there doing a real good job in the running game and also in the receiving game. The kid is really a good football player. And then 4 and 6, I think 6 complements with the pass and things of that nature, and 4 is just a downhill runner. He's a tough guy. From the defensive side of the ball, how could you not like what they do on defense? Those guys he's been doing it for a long time. It's kind of who he is, what he's about. McMillan, I like McMillan a lot. That's number 3. 9 is all over the place. He's a really good, he plays like that nickel rover. You need to know where he's at all times. He's just a really, really good football player. Both linebackers are both good in my opinion. I think it was 30 and 31. 30 and 30. I don't even think. Both of those two guys, 30 and 31, did a good job. And they're solid up front. Their defensive line is solid. But they're a real good football team. They're ranked really high. We get an opportunity to go up there and we just want to go up and try and compete, and just want to go up there to have a good show, So it'll be a good thing. Thursday night, 7:30, we'll be the only college football team playing at that time, hopefully. So everybody in the country will get the chance to watch us and see us go out and compete against a good football program.
Questions? We'll start right here with Dan, right on the end. Coach, how are you?
I'm chilling. How about yourself?
Doing well. There's a lot of history, obviously, between these two teams, the 80th matchup, and it's been a long time since Syracuse has had success in Pittsburgh. I think it was back in 2001 that there was a victory there. I know you're close with the alumni, so this game means a lot to a lot of people over a long period of time. Just what you can say about this year. You're 5-1, they're 6-0, and obviously this matchup is always highly contested.
We're just really focusing on us, trying to, the record doesn't really matter in my opinion of what our record is. Theirs is. I don't want to discredit what they've done. They've done a real good job. They're ranked in the country, so they've done a good job. But just for us, we're just trying to focus daily on the same things we've been doing. Just trying to do the same things. Try to minimize all the little things. I had a good call the other day with Coach Prime. Text me actually. He told me, take care of all the little things. Don't allow them to become big things. So just make sure I'm doing that and just focusing on the players and just consistently we're still installing a culture here. We're putting a culture to place. So we're just trying to focus on things daily, lock in, and then we're going to try to make sure that we're ready to go compete though on Thursday night.
Hey, Fran, is Marlowe going to be available this week? Does he have another week?
Yeah, honestly, it seems like he'll probably play next week. But, he's trying, he's pushing. He's a tough kid. He wants to go. But just for his safety and all the things, probably next week.
And then Marcellus, you had said he was maybe going to go, and then he didn't end up going against NC State. What's
He's
his
going
status?
to be ready to play now. He's ready to play this week. We just felt the other guy was a little ahead of where he was at the time, so that was the best thing for us to play the other guy at the time. It's still, you could come back, but you still got to compete for that spot. You don't just get right back where you were just because you left off. We're a competitive program, and to continue to be competitive and to push for competitive excellence, you have to keep open competition at all times.
Go to Maddie and back.
Hey, Coach. Nice to see you again.
You also.
Last time you guys came off a bye week, there was a loss to Stanford.
Yeah.
Does that change any way that you're preparing for this game against Pitt this week?
No, we're going to prepare the same. I mean, we just got to stay focused. We got to work. As I told you guys when it came to that, that was on me. I thought the kids put themselves in a great position to go and win that game, and then I blew it at the end. But we focused on daily, just the daily grind, just getting up, making sure we focused on praying first, and then going lock in and just do all the things that are needed throughout the day. Everybody trying to follow that schedule to the best of their ability, and then when we have a chance to practice, let's dominate practice. Then from practice, let's go dominate treatment. Let's make sure that we go to the training table and eat right, get to bed in enough amount of time, just so that way we're able to go out and compete when it's time for us to compete.
We'll go to Chris on the end, and then Christian right here.
Fran, with the amount of time he sort of missed with injuries, how difficult is it for like a guy like Justice Ross Simmons to develop chemistry with Kyle? And was that something they were able to work on and sort of speed up over the off week?
No, we've just been working. He working his butt off. I've been challenging him to work. I tell him we want to see more from him. We need to see more from him because he's capable of doing more. So he's pushing to get back in it. He had a really good practice yesterday. It was his first time like us getting out there and being able to practice in. So he's done a good job, and we're just pushing. We're just trying to focus, trying to bring him along slowly. But we would love for him to come in and start to do the things that we went and recruited him, which we seen him do on tape. So hoping that we can get some of that to come to light soon.
Christian and then Brent.
Coach, on the ACC Network postgame show after the NC State game, you said your team still had a losing mentality. What are some of the examples of that, and how are you and your coaches trying to remove that losing mentality?
We just got to keep thinking winning. I thought that you was in that same room when we talked about that, and I told Emily, because she had asked, and I talked about just turning around, wanting to speak to the crowd and things like that aren't important. Just being able to focus on the game and live in the moment. You got to be in the moment. When you're not in the moment and you're not where your feet are, you don't have mental toughness. So I'm just trying to get them to consistently be in the moment, because all those little moments end up becoming a big moment, So we just got to focus on the moment, live in the moment, be in the moment, lock in on what's needed to be done for you to be ready when that big moment comes for you to have the opportunity to make a play. And I don't think we were doing that the entire time when we played NC State. We would get up, I think we kind of always played to guys' talent instead of playing to the best of our ability. So there were different things in that game that I wasn't comfortable with, things that I saw as a head football coach. When we're during the game, I don't want you talking to the crowd. I think you should be focused on your brothers that are on the football field. I think you should be going over things that happened in the game already, looking at that, especially if you're not a starter. You should be looking at and listening to what the coach is saying, so that way when you get in, you get the opportunity. They're going to run the same plays over, whether it's offensive, defensively. You already got those corrections, and now you can go and you can make a play.
Brent, and then to Aiden and Justin.
Fran, I was just wondering, after the bye week and some time has passed, is there an update on Zeke Haynes? Do you anticipate he'll be back with the team?
No, as soon as Zeke come back, I'm going to just make sure I tell everybody. I'm going to post it. I'm going to throw a party and everything. As soon as he come back, everybody going to know when he back. Like, I'm going to send balloons. You're going to see all these orange and blue balloons coming up from our spot, like, as soon as he back. But he's not back right now. He's just handling this family issue that he's taking care of. Everybody handles things a lot different, and we think that this is best for Yazzie, him and his family, to be where he's at the moment. But, I'm very thankful for Amari Hatcher, and the things that he's doing, and Jackson Meeks, and, Darryl Gill, and, all those guys like that are doing a good job. Like you just said, Justice Ross Simmons, Emmanuel Ross will be back soon. So I'm very thankful for all the guys that we do have that are here, and we're just praying and hoping that everything continues to work out the way it's going with Zeke, and that we have an opportunity of seeing him sometime in the near future.
And just to follow up on that, Kyle McCord's had a lot of success in the passing game on third down. I was just wondering what you see there and why he's been so successful.
He just throws it to the guys that are open, He just throws it to the guys that are open. I think he's intelligent. Pretty sure, Coach Narduzzi and I'm going to have a plan for that. So I'm hoping that he can hit things on first and second down and won't have a whole lot of third downs. But I know that those guys are very good over there who we're about to play, so they're going to be locked in on our third down package. So we got a lot coming, a lot to handle, going over here to Pitt on this Thursday. So we'll see how it goes.
Aiden and Justin in the front row.
Hey, Coach. You talked about Desmond Reed a little bit. Just what makes him so effective in the running game and the passing game? He currently leads the ACC in all-purpose yards per game. So, what have you seen on film from him?
I think he's a tough kid. I think he got a little bit of that Catamount blood in him, so that kind of just runs off. But no, he's a tough kid. He comes from a tough background. Miramar High School. I mean, he's always been a good football player, and I think he plays with a chip on his shoulder. You can see it on film, and he plays tough. You have to know where he's at all times, whether when it comes to the passing piece, when it comes to running game. He's a tough runner too. A lot of times guys will think you're a smaller guy, you don't run hard. He's a physical runner, So, I think he's a complete running back. So that's why he's having success. He must work at it. I don't know him personally, but I know he works hard. I like what I see on film from him, and he's a really good football player.
Hey, Coach. I'm just wondering what you've seen from Derek McDonald so far this year and how he's stepped up in Marlowe's absence.
He's playing well. He's doing a good job. There's some things that we want him to get better at. There's some things that he wants to get better at. And in the same sense, he's done a pretty good job for us, though. He's been able to step into that role and fill the role. He's done a good job. He's a leader, too. He's a leader on the team. He's a guy that always does everything right. So I'm very thankful and happy that he's had this opportunity and that he's made the best of the opportunity, because there was a lot of guys. I just was talking to a guy yesterday because he hasn't been playing and Derek's been playing. I said he's beat you in the classroom. He's beat you at practice. Like you say that you're a gamer and all these different things, but when you have an opportunity to do it in practice every day, he does better than you. So that's the reason he's playing, because he's outworked you. So go outwork him, and then we'll flip that around.
Coach, you guys going to face Pitt this weekend. Would you say that this is one of the few protected matchups with the ACC? You guys will play Pitt. Would you say you guys look at this as a rivalry game?
I think whoever we play is a rival. Everybody's a rival, right? Whoever you play is a rival, in my opinion. I'm not sure if this is a rivalry game. I just know that we're going to go play them. They're a good football team. They're really good. They're a good program. We want to go up there and be able to play them. Maybe being a young guy, getting the opportunity to go and compete against Narduzzi, as a coach, and me in my first year being a coach, that's a good deal to be able to go and do. But it probably is a rival. They've been playing this is the 80th matchup. I don't know what number makes a rival, but it got to be somewhat of a rival, right? It's definitely a rival. They're a good football program. I guess it's a rival. Yeah, I think that everybody we play with, all 6 games we already played, they were all rivals, and now the next 6 is definitely rivals. It's the same way. So whoever we play, in my opinion, I think I told the players already, everybody we play is a rival. It's a rival game every week you play. So definitely.
Dan and then Carson.
Fran, when you look at, like you said, at the midpoint here of the season, 5-1 through the first 6 games, what has been the best positives that you've had from this team in the first half of the season as you get set for the second half, those big positives, and maybe if there was a surprise or two for you in a positive way?
That we got closer, as a family. Guys been together, been around each other. We've been there for all the guys that are out for the year, because to me those are some of the most important things that you deal with. You got guys, injuries come and go all the time. But these guys that had injuries were key players for us, and us being able to still move on and be able to play without those guys. And us, I take my hat off to Brandon Hall, John Mitchell, and just our guys and just our mental health specialists of being able to communicate with these guys and continuously talking to them and keeping them around, keeping them involved in the program. I think that's a huge positive, because when you have those guys pushing and telling guys keep going, keep working, it's cool for a coach to say it, but when one of your brothers, one of your teammates is saying it to you and he can no longer go out there and play this year, it means a little bit more. So I just think that we've got a lot closer through those first 6 games. But as you know, here we've talked about history. We've done well 6 games, so it's what we're going to do the second half. That's really going to question who we are as coaches, who we are as football as players, and just who we are as a team this year, for us to see what we'll do the next 6.
Coach, good to see you. What have you learned about your team over these last 2 weeks? Back-to-back road trips, you win both games by a single score. Seems like your team has been extremely resilient the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're relentless. A lot of people use resilient. We use relentless. It's just who we are. We're on an approach. We're on a mission. So there's some things that we have to get done, and not just as football players, but as men, as young men, and they know how to. They're starting to be able to approach it differently. They're becoming more and more of young men daily, and I think the faster we become men, the easier football becomes, and those guys are pushing to go and do that. Is it hard? Yes. You know, everybody makes mistakes, and there's a lot of mistakes. We got 116 guys on the football team, and they're all just pushing towards the same goal. Of course, we want to win, but they're all pushing to be great men, because one day they're going to be fathers and husbands, and they're going to be running certain communities that they live in. So we're pushing towards that, and then just football just happens to fall in place. And when you got a bunch of men doing their job and doing what they're supposed to do, that's one of their jobs they need to do, so they just don't quit. You know, we just can't quit.
Well, Mark and then Emily.
Coach, you mentioned being the only game on TV on Thursday night. How much motivation or extra motivation does that give the players, knowing that they're going to be solely in the spotlight? And is it possible that guys maybe get too keyed up knowing that?
No, we're just regular. We're ready to play. I treat it like practice, just being able to go and play. But it's something that you work for. So if you get that opportunity to be the only game on television, you definitely better make sure you're ready for it. You got to prepare for it. It's all about preparation, though, right? So if you prepare, you put yourself in the right situation, and it works itself out. You know, we think that piss poor preparation equals a piss poor performance, you know. But if you prepare the right way and you do everything the right way, then you have opportunity. This doesn't mean like, hey, you got it guaranteed to go win. It gives us a better opportunity of us preparing, and we're definitely happy to be playing on Thursday night. We were happy to play on Friday night a few weeks ago. We were happy to play Saturday. Like I told you guys before, I love if we could play Thursday at 12 o'clock. That would be even better than playing at 7:30. I would love to play at 12, and then I get the whole rest of the day to hang with my daughter and my wife. But yeah, but we love playing Thursday. Just got to work our butts off. Love being the only team. You know, some of these guys dreaming of NFL plays on Thursday now. In a few years, this could be you. It could be the same thing. You're just playing at this stage, and now it's going to move to that pretty soon. So it's an honor, and we're thankful and happy that the ACC, you know, our conference is one of the, if not probably the best conference in the country to have the opportunity of having us play on Thursday night.
A few more for Coach. We'll start with Emily and then go to Chris.
We've talked a lot about Jackson Meeks this year, but I don't know that we've ever talked about your first conversation with him and just getting him to follow you here from Georgia. So could you just kind of take us inside that moment with him?
Honestly, my first conversation, like what you mean, like my first conversation I ever met him? Or?
Well, that too, but when he decided to transfer up here and
come with you. When he decided to transfer, first off, I talked to Coach Smart, and I talked to Coach Smart, and then I talked to Coach B-Mac, and Coach Smart was comfortable, you know, with him being able to go because of all the talent that's there. Not saying that he wasn't as talented as those guys. It was just it was a lot of them. You know, it's a lot of dogs down there in Georgia, as you've seen Saturday night. It's a lot of them there. So he was able to come here with me, and he just asked me, hey, am I going to play? I said, if you work the way you've been working now, yeah. I can't just tell you you're going to come and start, but I can tell you that I will want you to come and you understand the culture that I want to build. You understand all those things, and I would be extremely happy if you came up here and done it. And the crazy thing about it, he didn't come here as a starter. So when he came, like when we first started in the summer and all those things, he wasn't like running. He wasn't catching the ball well at first, and he just kept working because that's what he does. And that's what I'm so excited and thankful that it went that way for him, because he's able to help build the culture even more. Because he said, just keep working, keep working, keep working, and then success comes. And then when you do have success, guess what you got to keep doing? Working and working and working and working. You know, our main thing is CCT, committed, you care, you trust, and those are all actions. So he just focused on that. He done that, and he just put the faith and the hard work in on a daily basis. And now you get a chance to see him play on Saturdays the way he's been playing lately. But it's all because of his preparation and the work he's put in.
We'll go to Chris, and then we'll finish off right here in the second row.
Fran, with your first off week this season, I think you said you guys were pretty physical with practices in terms of trying to continue to develop a culture. Did you approach this one any differently with it later in the year?
Nope, I ain't approaching it any different at all. I'm just trying to handle it the same way. My message was a little bit different. You know, I just talked to him a little different when it comes to the message, but we had to approach it the same way. We still have to build a culture. It takes, you know, you just don't get it done just because you want it done. Guys have to do it, you know, still class checking, still making sure all those things. There's a lot of things that go into building a culture and building a good football team, you know, not just on the football field, what you see. It's the other things. It's getting to class on time. It's being at training table when you have a massage scheduled for a certain time and you need to be there on time. If you can't be there, there's communication that needs to happen. Just all those things like that are people think aren't like as important, but I think that that's the direct correlation to you making a play on the field on Thursday night, national television in front of everybody, because you've done it when no one was looking.
How about the level of physicality versus like trying to bounce, be healthy for a full season?
I like contact. We're going to hit certified strikers, so that's just something that we have to do. You have to have contact. If you eliminate that, then your team's not going to be able to do it when it's time to go and play. So we try to pull it back a little just for that. I mean, we're playing a real physical football team, so we're going to play a real physical football team. So.
Hey, Coach. Hope your beginning of the week is going well. More on that extended week of practice. Were there any players or units that really stood out to you, used that extra time in a more productive way than other groups?
No, they all worked. They was all watching tape. They all did the same. No other group really stood out anymore. Everyone worked the same. We all worked hard. I thought the coaches and recruiting staff, they worked their butts off. They've been in here every day. So I think the recruiting staff, if anything, I would say Nate McNeil and Aaron Manici, Stanley Williams, Eric, I'll say Eric is Emmanuel, Mark, Alec, Tony G, Tommy Capel, like all those guys, Tommy Cap, all those dudes in that room, those dudes really worked hard this week of just making sure guys were still up on that recruiting and doing what was needed and making sure we was on point. So I would say the recruiting staff, take my hat off to those guys and the work that they've done this week.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Coach.
But,